All right, let us say hello to the one atomweight champion, Angela Lee, who has had a lot going on in her life since we last saw her regain her title in October of 2019. She has become a mom, and now, as you can see in the background, she is on the road back to competition. Angela, great to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So first things first. How is parenthood? How have you enjoyed being a mom? I'm a veteran of 8 years at this point. How have you been enjoying the first few months?
It's amazing, honestly. Just filled with so much happiness, more than I could imagine. Each day is something new. My daughter, she's just started to babble, finding her voice. So she's making all these cute sounds and noises. And yeah, I love it so much.
Parenthood, as you can attest to, it changes you in a lot of ways, right? Like I know fighters talk about it a lot, like it's extra motivation to win and compete, but it's a lot more than that. Like it changes a lot of things. Like, have you noticed a big change in yourself in general, a more, I guess, tunnel vision approach to everything in your life?
Definitely. Now, me and my husband, our whole world revolves around Ava, and everything we do is all for her now. So I just started to get back into training, and it is not easy. It's been pretty rough. My body is not the same as how I remember it, and so I'm just trying to, take things slow, one day at a time. But yeah, some days are harder than others to get myself on the mat, but I just look at my daughter and I remember that I'm doing it for her.
Well said. Yeah, it was about a week or so ago. I think you posted that it was your first day back at the gym. You got to train with your dad and your sister Victoria, your brother Adrian. And it's like anything you get back into after a bit of time away, yeah, there's like some familiarity, sure, but you got to build back to where you were. So like, how would you describe the first training session back? Like when it was over, what were you feeling like?
Honestly, overall, I was so happy to be back. The gym, is my first home, really. So everything feels really natural. It's just my body. It's like I was so sore, and I was just not used to, training. I mean, it's been almost a year. So it's rough, but luckily I have a great support system over here, and my dad, who's my coach, he's like, hey, don't put any pressure on yourself. Just take it easy, and we're gonna ease you back into this. The last thing I want to do is, push myself too hard and get injured, and then not only will that be bad for myself, but I need to take care of my daughter. So, yeah.
What was the hardest part of it all?
Oh my goodness. You know what? Initially, just getting past the warm-ups, because this was the first time that I really exercised, worked out in a while, and I felt like throwing up after the warm-ups, but I stuck with it. And 2 hours of training later, yeah, I had an awesome time. It just felt so great to be back, with everyone in this environment.
What have you made of the progression of your brother and sister since the last time you trained with them?
Oh my goodness. It's crazy. I really, really miss training with them, just because, before I got pregnant, we were training with each other every day. But now, stepping back on the mats with them, I can really see how much growth they've had, in terms of technique, but also size-wise. Like my sister is taller than me, and my youngest brother Adrian, he's just huge. I don't know what happened.
Time flies, right?
It does. It really does. Scary.
So in your world, there's an atomweight Grand Prix that has been booked and rebooked several times now. It doesn't have an official date, but the winner of that tournament is expected to face you for the title. They're hoping maybe it happens sometime this summer, but I guess how are you viewing this concept as the champion getting ready to return after nearly 2 years away? Do you feel like this is the right way to get to your next fight?
I do. In the atomweight division, it definitely has the most women. for the organization. It's the busiest. Um, and yeah, there's some, you know, really good contenders that they've brought into the atomweight Grand Prix. I mean, the atomweight Grand Prix is super exciting in itself, just because it's the first, all-female tournament that one's going to put on. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be super fun to see how it goes down, and I'll be tuning in for sure. Meanwhile, for me, it just gives me so much added motivation to get back to training and get back to fight shape as soon as possible, just because I know that these girls are gunning for me, so I got to be ready.
What is your ideal time frame looking like? Let's just say this thing happens in the next month or two, and again, we don't really know when exactly it is going to happen. Are you hoping to get back in there before the end of the year? Or are you hoping maybe like the beginning of next year? What's your calendar sort of looking like? What do you have circled in terms of when you'd like to get back in there?
For me, I'm really focusing on getting back, and ideally, I would like to have myself, in fight shape by the end of the year. With that being said, I'm not sure how things play out. The world is still kind of not back to normal with, the COVID and things like that. So it makes things a little bit more difficult. I know that the atomweight Grand Prix was supposed to happen earlier, got pushed back. So, we'll see. But all I have to worry about is getting my butt back in shape, and my plan is hopefully by the end of the year to be fight ready.
Like you said, everyone in this tournament is going to be gunning for you at some point. Whoever comes out of this is going to be fighting you for the title. Who out of this field do you have your eyes on specifically? Like, who sticks out to you? Who is your favorite, if you will, to come out of this thing and be your next opponent? Have you thought about that at all?
I think that everyone who has a spot in this Grand Prix is not to be taken lightly. The matchups are interesting, so I'm really excited to see how that plays out. I mean, it's a fight; anything can happen, and also even more so in a tournament setting like this. I don't want to call out who I think is gonna win the tournament, because you never know, especially with training conditions now. You don't know who has access to what, and how prepared someone may be. So, anything can happen. I'm just excited that I get to see these girls face off against each other. And yeah, it's going to be one hell of a tournament.
As we discussed earlier, your family fully entrenched in this game. Christian, of course, the lightweight champion. He's a new parent as well. Just coming off this phenomenal performance back in April, first round finish. It was on TNT in the US, which is a very big deal for one. What did you think of his performance and what he's been doing overall in the last 2.5, 3 years?
Christian is just getting better and better. And the scary thing for everyone in his division is that he's just getting started. I mean, he just celebrated his 23rd birthday yesterday. So, literally he has so much more to go. And, the way he trains in the gym every single day is just so motivating and inspiring for me. And yeah, I think that now that he has a daughter, and now that he's a dad, he has just so much more motivation. So he's going to be even scarier in the cage, if that's possible.
What's the age difference between your two daughters?
So my daughter, Ava, she was born April 16th. And then Christian's daughter, Aaliyah, was born May 1st. They're 15 days apart.
All right. That's a good birthday for yours. My son was born April 17th. So you got me by a day. So
nice.
How about that? And then we talked about Victoria, who just won her pro debut back in February. She looked phenomenal as well. Submission win in the second round. It's one thing to watch Christian do his thing, but to see Victoria go out, your little sister go out there and put on a performance like that, as big sis, what was that like for you?
Oh my gosh, it was just so surreal. I was really bummed out that I couldn't be there for her debut, because, I really just saw myself being there cage side, and that's what I really wanted to. But I was in my third trimester, so I couldn't travel. And also with the COVID situation, she was not allowed any more people to go with her for the fight. But I was just up and screaming at my phone and, supporting her from here in Hawaii, and so proud of her, to think that she put on a performance like that at just 16 years old is, it's very, very, there's so many more things to think about. And not only do you have to be prepared for, to face another professional MMA fighter, but all the nerves that she had to deal with and she overcame. So very proud of her.
Could Adrian be the best of the bunch? Is this possible? Because this just seems like the growth from like from the oldest to the youngest. It just seems, I don't know. It's just wild. I mean, you get 2 world champions in the family, and now you're watching, Victoria have the success she's having. Is it possible that Adrian could be the best of the bunch when his prime comes?
I don't want to give anything away. Adrian, he's still 15 years old, but the guy is a beast. He is. And it's very nice to see how he's progressing. And so who knows?
All right, fair enough. Keep that secret. Mystery is a good thing. What was your experience like? I know that the Apprentice One Championship Edition is about to hit the US pretty soon, if memory serves me correctly. I know you were a part of that. What was that like for you? What was that experience like for you being a part of a show like that?
That was super fun. It was a really awesome experience. I hope that I definitely get more opportunities like that in the future. It's different than fighting. You got other things to worry about, like saying your lines correctly, and it's long days with filming too. But definitely very enjoyable and super cool for me to see, behind the scenes of how this all works.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad you got those experiences, and I'm glad you get to experience being a mom. You have a big smile on your face, so you can tell it's all good as you get ready to make that journey back into the cage. Hopefully sometime at the end of the year, maybe next year, we'll see how that all goes. Of course, we got the atomweight Grand Prix to take place, and we'll see who comes out of that. But Angela, glad to see this background behind you with the cage behind you, getting back at it. And we wish you all the best in this journey back to the cage. And I appreciate the time very much.
Thank you so much. Hope to be speaking with you guys soon.